So that was my Michael Jordan story.
Oh, man.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? I am Pruitt. Welcome to our little humble, sometimes interesting, sometimes totally off the wall podcast, Everyday People. Hope y'all doing well. I'm unbelievable as always, sitting here with the one and only Queen Pruitt, sitting over here to my right. There she is. How you be?
Swell
As
How
always.
are you doing?
Unbelievable, dear. Just pushing along, as you already know.
Yes.
This is a podcast where we sit down, like I said, and just chit chat and goof off and have a good old time. Welcome to the folks watching us live on YouTube, because we do broadcast this live on YouTube as part of our recording. So if you're watching live, please do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button on the screen right now, so YouTube will show us some love and we can get a few nickels and dimes from YouTube. So hit thumbs up on there, hit subscribe, hit like, all that good stuff, share, all that good stuff, all that good magical algorithmic stuff. I think that's a heart. What was that?
Yeah,
I was saying. Or do you have arthritis?
Putting it on me. I was saying thank you. Actually, it's two hearts.
It's two. Okay, I can see that. I give you your credit on that. I can see that now.
Well, thank you.
Nice work. I thought it was just arthritis. Oh man, but thank you for LaShawn. Now I can't say it. She's in here today, hanging out in the live stream in the chat. Good to see you as always. Our wonderful little niece that's just getting it done day in and day out over there. Does the live chat show up?
Thank you, Lee Janine.
Does the live chat show up? There it goes.
I see it.
There it goes. All right. And she's got the little hearts and the ducks on there because somebody's in there. Oregon stuff today, apparently. Unlike another guy.
That's so unfortunate.
It's all right. Ain't nothing going to change with that. I still love my team.
Yeah.
That is what it is. All right. So what has been the word with you this week? Anything you'd like to update us on or share with us? Or you got some poignant thoughts that you've been mulling over in the last 6 days since the last time we were on there?
I just feel a shift. I don't know.
What
I just know that
that
some things are changing for the better. Starting to realize that I'm going to have faith in, if I'm going to ask, if I'm going to have faith in God and everything that he said, that I was raised for him saying that he promises, then I have to do something different, because right now I'm expecting something different in my life to change, but I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah, that old adage. Yeah,
and that's just what I've been thinking about a lot lately. Is I have been having all these nightmares about bondage and being held hostage. Over and over and over, and I'm sick of it. And the only thing I can think of is I'm feeling hostage in so many areas of my life right now.
Yeah,
so
and that makes
but they
total
won't
sense.
Stop. It's not just that, and then all throughout the day, I'm getting glimpses of my nightmares or dreams, and I don't know. It's just a lot like that. I think is happening. Things are shifting, even with my work where I work, doing what I'm doing. Like, I don't know. I just feel something. I feel a shift happening for the better.
Do you feel burnout?
I feel like it's been on the edge, but it's really starting to affect
my bad
me.
You mentioned that to me last week, so sorry. You did say that.
I do, but you start to really feel it when it's just like, bleh. I used to love going to work. Me and my coworker were talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like when you start to get what you're worth, like they showing you how they feel about you, and starts to change things.
Yeah, indeed. Everything you just said makes a ton of sense. The whole idea of feeling held hostage or bondage and whatnot, it's pretty common, unfortunately, right about now with things going on in our society. We got our own problems for sure. And it's unfortunate that we're dealing with all of this, and it can really weigh on you, even if it's just a subconscious kind of thing in the back of your head kind of thing. You ain't necessarily talking about it, but you feel it there, and that's unfortunate. But I do like the fact that you recognize that old adage of you want something different, but you ain't doing anything different,
No, I'm not. I'm doing the same thing, waiting around for something. So all I'm doing is waiting around for something to change. Yeah. But what am I doing to change anything?
Yeah. And I'm definitely
and it's
guilty
so
of that myself.
frustrating because I'm waiting for change and feeling held hostage at work, feeling held hostage in this house. I'm trying, and all of it trying to suppress it all with, okay, what to do now? And then it's like this. My brain is always just.
Oh, we know how your brain goes.
Yes, Lord.
We know how that is. No, I totally respect that you acknowledge that, and I'm guilty of it too. Far as the whole, you expect something different, but you ain't do shit different, and I'm trying to do things differently. At least I can say that. As of like 2 weeks ago, I know I changed certain things throughout the daily process here and there just to see what's going to happen. That was like at least for 2 weeks ago. Will I change that again going forward? I don't know. It depends on what happens in the next 6 days, I guess. I don't know. Or the next 4 days. But this is a different season. It's like the heart of the summertime now. For adults. It's not necessarily the heart of summertime for kids, but it's the heart of summertime for adults because it's hot. Some folks have just gotten back from vacation, and I don't care what anybody says, but 90 to 95% of the folks here in the U.S. that take vacation, they don't do it right. So when they come back, it is a mess when they come back.
Yeah.
So they're stressed out right now, which is supposed to be the summertime and the vacation and you refreshing. No, they're stressed out right now because they went on vacation. So it is a weird season right now, I think it'll change here over the next couple of weeks. It seems to do that. The energy anyway. Now, as far as the moon and stuff like that, I don't know. That's all you. you know the moon racket. I do not.
It's not a racket.
No, that was just a joke.
It's just it's the moon cycles.
I see John Helm has popped up in the house. Good to see you, brother. Thank you for being here live with us. And I see
we need a family hike.
Interesting comment here. We need a family hike.
Woo, a hike. Take your mind off of the stress. Or that's something different. I get where she's coming from. That is basically, we need to be outside. Need to be outside. Need to be away from the distractions. Get out in open air. Get out in nature and some good old sun. And as she says there in the chat, see some new horizons. Yeah.
And she's spot on with that. We've spoken about it before, as far as just putting your feet on the ground, your bare feet on the ground makes a huge difference.
Maybe that's what it is. Because right now I've been searching for stuff with TV shows of interest, or just trying to find something that sparks something in me these last few weeks, and I'm not finding it anywhere. I'm not finding it at work.
Well, the previous couple of weeks you had been studying when you were watching TV. I know it was entertainment, but you were also studying. So now that's ended. But what's next now?
Now it's like what I say. It's like hurry up and waiting. You know what? I don't know. Mm-hmm. I haven't. I still can't settle. Mm-hmm. It's weird.
What do you mean by you still can't settle?
Because I know this is not where I'm going to be. So it's like living in a hotel room.
Oh, okay. No, I get that.
It's my mindset right now.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm living in a hotel room for real, for real. I didn't feel like that when we moved out here. Mm-hmm. I didn't feel like we were moved into a hotel room.
Well, but
I do now.
It is definitely a turning point, because the life has changed for the both of us. So it makes sense that we don't feel like settling in right now. Mm-hmm. Because we're both of us are trying to turn over a new leaf, if you will, or move into a different chapter, or whatever freaking analogy you want to throw out there. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense that not settled. But I would like to advise you that even though this isn't a time to, quote, settle, you can still try to find some comfort in some little things here and there, even if it's just in the closet, on the toilet, in the shower. Find some comforts in, somewhere.
Yeah.
And own it,
Yeah.
It was, I can remember however many years ago that was, when I had to stay in that hotel for a month for the new job that I had gotten. Mm-hmm. That was a weird experience. Mm-hmm. That was a weird experience as a man that literally left his family away for 30 days, and all it was phones and texting and so forth. We didn't do, I think maybe you and I did some video chat here and there, but most of the time it didn't happen. Mm-hmm. Because of scheduling. We were on the same time zone, but still scheduling was either I was out and about ripping and running, or you were out and about ripping and running, or you were asleep, because Lord knows you go to sleep in a minute.
Yeah, if there's nothing else to do.
So, but I remember being there, and when it wasn't Saturday, it was definitely really weird, because Saturdays was fine, because when this happened, it was in the beginning of football season. Mm-hmm. So I had no problem locking myself in that hotel room on Saturday morning and getting up, go down to get the little free breakfast and whatnot. And the staff knew me by name, and here, this is what you normally get, blah, blah, blah. And I go on and I'd be in that room for 4 hours until it was time to come back out and get something to eat. But during the week, it was a little different, and so I had to find comfort here and there in little things in that different place, and I think at the time for me, it was, I would lean on my camera. I remember taking my drone up there, and because it was a new area, I would go out and just try to scout different spots with the drone and sort of sightsee that way, because I didn't want to necessarily drive all over the place and whatnot. But the drone gave me that extra reach, if you will, to see different stuff that was out there. And it was pretty cool. And it definitely helped bring some normalcy back, because I wasn't too keen on going out doing street photography or anything like that in that first week or two, especially like going to Baltimore and whatnot, because I heard a lot of horror stories about Baltimore, and I still hear horror stories about Baltimore. So yeah, it was weird trying to find some comfort, but I did find comfort, and it did allow me to get through that month somewhat easier, I should say. Now, it wasn't like a boot camp at Salt Lake City or nothing like that, but it's still
I didn't even make it the whole time, so
it wasn't boot camp, but it was still a challenging time, you know. Anybody, for the folks there in the chat watching this live, have y'all ever done anything like that or had to spend an extended amount of time away from your family, be it for work or be it for just something that you were attempting to do? Heck, or some of y'all might be a bunch of criminals in here and spent some time away behind the bars. You know, that happens. They're in all our families, but if you have, let us know there in the chat. Why are you shaking your head? Something wrong over there? What's going on?
Because
shaking your head like a dog.
There it is right there.
Oh, it's shorting out?
Yeah.
That's because I never did buy that extra.
It's only when you stop talking to me, or when you start talking, it went out in one side.
It's a short in the cord.
Now it's not like that, so it's fine now.
It should be fine now because there's
no
tension
right now.
there. But at some point, I'll buy you another set. Probably. I'd like to get you a set of these, but they're a little expensive. At some point. But man, they sound good. Gosh, I love these freaking headphones. These headphones on my ears today help me get work done. I spent a lot of time working on stuff for ZDNet. I got an article that should be coming out maybe, what's today? Wednesday. Should be coming out maybe tomorrow. And then I decided to do a video, like a TikTok / Instagram Reels video. Decided to do that too because they're like, hey, if you want to do that stuff, we'll pay you for it too. And I did it, and I probably spent way too much time on that thing for 60 seconds, and who knows. But it's one of those things where I like to create different art. But it's unfortunate that sometimes my effort doesn't necessarily land with the masses. You know, it's about like posting to Instagram. You know, if I post some photos of a recent football game that I had to shoot or something like that, and I crushed them, you know, just you see their eyes glistening in the light and the sweat, and absolutely crushed that shot. Crickets. Crickets. But if I put out there my feet on the ground, or a dumbass selfie of me sitting in the car here with the seatbelt on,
you get tons of views.
It's so much interaction on that kind of stuff, you know. And so working on that video today, you know, I went through and because it's talking about a camera, so I had to film the camera itself, you know, had to film what the camera looks like. I even did some special effects in it that I don't even know if anybody's going to notice the special effect. I think I put it.
Did I put it in you did it, so
I put it in our Slack. Did you even see it? Probably not.
I did.
That's okay. That's a no, folks. Yeah, I get it. I'm sort of used to it.
No, I did see it come through.
That is still.
But I did see it come through. Yes, I did.
And you over here yawning
because it's messing with my ears, going back and forth. Sometimes it's out, sometimes it's in. So yeah, this
is what I'll do. I will give you these. I have my other monitors right here that we can switch out.
You definitely don't need to mess with your ears
in my break.
Like
I got my other monitors. These are my other Pro monitors too. So we can pause for a break. Yes, I buzzed her, John. She deserved it, damn it.
Yes.
She deserved it. She knows
she's
she
not
did.
On the Patreon.
That's hilarious.
You did it right. You are so right.
You see, and look here.
That's funny.
Little Myrtle, my niece in there.
You cannot be making
I did. I shared this with the dadgum family. I didn't even share it with Patreon. They didn't see it first. I shared it with the family before I even sent it to the editors to publish the stuff. Sent it with them. You think anybody watched it? I could go look at the analytics. It'll tell me if anybody watched it. I guarantee none of my 3 folks in this family watched it, but that's okay. Oh boy, that's all right. I still love y'all anyway. I don't know why, but I still do.
It's like me asking you to sit in there and watch SpongeBob or Sandy Cheeks' The Story on Netflix today. I watched it.
I didn't know you was watching it because I was working. Mm-hmm. We're going to pause for a break. Thank y'all for being here and hanging out with us.
It's working out right now. I don't hear anything different.
Appreciate y'all being here in the YouTube live stream and listening on whatever podcast application you use. She'd watch it. Kennedy misses her Slack chat. Yes. A little weirdo. Yeah, when little weirdo moved out of the Pruitt household, she was removed from the family Slack channel because I have security standards. Damn it! So
she'd watch it.
She would watch it. This is true. She would.
She would have. Yeah, I had to watch Sandy Cheeks' Story. Had to. You know.
Did?
Yes, it was really neat.
You planning on going back as into the SpongeBob universe or something?
Of course, if there was an opportunity for Sandy Cheeks to be played again somewhere.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. So let's look at
I would be able to represent differently too this time, knowing more than what I did the first time.
Okay, hold on. So I want to drill in on that for a few seconds. But
I do not like musicals. I don't.
I love how
I don't, but that is a familiar one. Okay.
I love how when I say hold on for a second, you decide to continue. So thank you. There. Thank y'all for being here. We're going to pause for a quick commercial break so we can get a few nickels and dimes from YouTube and all the other ad people here in this feed. So y'all stay right there. We'll be right back after this. And we are back. Thank y'all for being here on Everyday People Doing Everyday Shit podcast with myself. I am Aunt Pruitt. She over there, she be good old Phoebe Pruitt, also known as Queen Pruitt. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you for being here live in the YouTube chat and hanging out with us. Hit the share button, hit the like button, thumbs up, subscribe, all that magical stuff, please and thank you. Now that we are, what is that? You chopping wood over there?
No. Nothing. Just moving my hands.
Oh, okay.
Moving my hands.
I was going to say, we got to work on your improv or your charade skills or something over there. Before we went to the break, we were talking about Sandy Cheeks. And you were saying that if the opportunity came up again, you would play that role again.
Or a role related to Sandy Cheeks. Like this was her story, this one that I just watched. Mm-hmm. There might be another role that comes by with this story versus the one that I did, which when she saves Bikini Bottom, it's the same things, but a little different.
So if it was just another episode, if you will, of SpongeBob, you would do it. Mm-hmm. Be it she's the subject at hand or not, just it was another episode, like this was episode 2.
Yeah.
You would do that.
Yeah.
Okay. So all right, well that just sort of diminishes my original thought then, because I was wondering if you were thinking if there was like an origin story, you would do that, or like what would keep you from doing a role featuring Sandy Cheeks then? Because you've already done it. What would keep you from doing it?
If I had to sing the entire song with all of the lyrics, if I had to sing and sing and sing and sing and sing and sing.
You don't want to do musicals again? Is that what you're saying?
I don't want that to be the first thing that I'm chosen for, because I'm not comfortable, because I haven't had voice lessons and I don't know the proper way to sing to get the full whatever vocabulary word, insert vocabulary word from singing.
You're getting better at this. So proud of you.
From singing. And I know that a lot of people they get the voice that I was at the JC with. They had voice lessons and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And that would help, but I didn't. And breathing is important with singing and dancing and all of that stuff. And
yeah.
Unless I'm on Broadway I know you got to get there, but that's not, I don't want to sing because I'm not comfortable with it. I guess that's what it is. If I was more comfortable with it, I knew how to breathe. I knew how to sing and dance, and it came really easy to me, and no stress was in my voice to where I'm going to be cracking and worried about that before I even start. Then no. I
got to give all of you folks credit in the musical game, if you will, because it's hard enough just to remember lines. Now you're telling me I need to remember lines and sing those lines and also do my blocking and choreography and do it without going on the mic. You know, that's an effort that everybody can't do. That is definitely a skill. And yeah, hats off to you. You know, I gave you grief. I gave you grief during your rehearsals and stuff here in the four walls because I've heard you singing your favorite song on the radio or what have you. Mm-hmm. And I hear you speak. Mm-hmm. But then I would hear you singing for your, just practicing your lines and whatnot. And I was like, that's not it. Your voice sounds totally different. Mm-hmm. And I believe you got to the point where you'd go to rehearsal and the voice people there were saying something relatively the same because it's a lot of work. I mean, it's the whole down to the posture and making sure you're feeling your diaphragm area and your lungs and
pushing out
and pushing
the
it
right
out,
set. Yeah, it's more to it than singing soprano in the choir in your section still, or maybe adding some clapping.
Yeah, that was about as far as you was pushing that, man. That was hard work there. John Helm in the chat says, we know how much Aunt loves musicals. You shut your mouth, man. You know? Musicals are the worst. Oh, gosh. I get people like them, because people will be like, God, football is horrible. Yeah, I love football. But when it comes to musicals, they just don't do it for me. I don't know why.
But a lot of the music
it was just. But
a lot of the music in general that you like don't have a lot of words to it.
Nailed it. That's true. And she understands the fact that I listen to a lot of smooth jazz and or a lot of classical. Classical or theatrical scores.
So maybe that's what it is, because musicals are supposed to pull on different heartstrings. It's more emotions. You're supposed to reach a different place with musicals.
Hold up. So you telling me musicals are more emotional than Ludwig van Beethoven's pieces?
No.
That's what you just said.
No, I said, but a lot of times with words in musicals, it's just different for majority of people.
Do I need to pull up some Hans Zimmer and strike up some Pirates of the Caribbean?
I mean, but for people who don't watch Pirates of the Caribbean but listen to R&B,
you don't even have to watch that movie. But if you just hear him and his orchestra get together, and even if you don't even turn on the television, just have the speakers playing, the energy that's coming from every single voice in there, from the piccolo, freaking piccolo, a piccolo sounds like someone's whistling over here in the corner. Mm-hmm. The energy coming from that, the energy from the drums, the bass guitar, the freaking the brass, the heavy brass. Oh, emotional. Way more than a dadgum musical. You're wrong.
Depends on the musical.
Okay, give me man. My man, John Helm in the chat right there. Interstellar. Nailed it.
Okay.
Interstellar. That movie wasn't even all that. It was okay.
It's very strong music. I listen to you and I see the energy that it gives you when you listen to it. So I feed off of that. I feel that. Same thing with jazz, smooth jazz.
Yeah.
Country. It all depends on, how you feel when you listen to it. And I see that. That's how I can read the emotion. Versus with me, I can hear some R&B from my childhood that'll remind me of something, and it'll take me to a different place of emotion. Same. With words.
Yeah, there are some songs with words that I truly dig. I don't just...
R&B songs from the 80s or 90s.
Oh man, yeah. I'm going back to the 70s. What you talking about?
I didn't say 70s.
You just said R&B.
I said R&B, but I'm talking about of our really okay. Yes, that was our childhood, but that was not really. I'm talking about when we were old enough to know what we're listening to.
Okay. All right. Well, I can give you one. I can go to the 90s. Let me see. Actually, there's two. Mary J. Blige. And I remember hearing this song, hearing it. Okay. I remember exactly where I was. Mary J. Blige, My Life. And you know how it starts out with the sample from the song from the 70s. Right? I can't think of the name. And I remember I was in my 92 Ford Escort. My 92 Ford Escort. And I had a Sherwood CD player, CD changer. I had two 12-inch woofers with a punch. No, it was a Kicker Impulse 300-watt amp on those big speakers. And I had tweeters up in the windshield. And I put that CD in and played that song just sitting in my mom's front yard. And it was freaking magical because of how well mixed it was. So to hear the doom, doom, doom and the rumble and feel that rumble. And then that and it was coming from the tweeter, so it hit you right up here at the right part of your ears, and and then she comes in with her words, her lyrics, and they're very, very profound and just strong. So yeah, that's one that I can say, yeah, I feel that one. R&B from the 90s. What about you?
Oh, where can I
You better
start?
not say something lame.
No. I remember Computer Love was one of my favorite songs.
Good track.
Like, as soon as I hear Computer Love, I learned, me and my little friends during that time learned the little hand motions to it. You gotta get it. You got. So now I'm gonna have to play that in here somewhere without getting pulled down. Oh my gosh! Every time I hear it, and then I start singing it, and it takes me back every time. I can go back to the hallways in school. I just remembered that song. I smell the smells, and I don't know why that one. Yeah. But that one is a really big one for me. Yeah. New Edition.
John Helm in the chat says New Edition.
New Edition.
That one hits with me.
Computer Love. Yes.
That one hits with me, but not like the way that Mary J. Blige joint did. Because when I think of New Edition, I think of being younger, and around that time, that was when I was hanging out with my uncle, who was essentially a big brother to me because he was only like 5 years older. He's only like 5 years older than I am. So hanging out with him and my cousins that were his age and his friends that were that age, they were listening to New Edition, and I didn't. I was just the knucklehead little young. Following them around kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I didn't necessarily measure up to them.
Yeah.
So when I would hear New Edition, it didn't feel like I measured up to be worthy enough to hear New Edition.
Yeah. I mean, when I heard him, of course, I was all about New Edition in the rap magazines, or not rap, what was the magazine?
Yeah, they were in those rap magazines. They were in Word Up. They were in Fresh. Yeah.
Fresh. Yeah. And I remember the wavy hair. And I remember just being pretty boys in there. That's pretty much I remember. But
another reason why I didn't think I qualified.
And I liked New Edition, but when I think of it, like maybe when I hear it, if it's playing somewhere, then it'll take me back. But it's usually when Bobby Brown was there, like that New Edition, or there's one particular song would be BBD.
That's not the song, was it? That's the group.
Yeah.
But what song?
I said there's one particular song with BBD.
With BBD. You don't remember the name?
I can have I have the sound in my head, but I don't know the name of it.
Oh.
I'm not getting ready to.
They were waiting on it. They were waiting on it in the chat.
I believe it, but it's a slower song, and that is another one that takes me back to.
When Will I See You Smile Again?
No.
Slower song. That's the only slow song I can remember from them.
No, this one is not one that was really, really, really. I don't feel like it was pushed as much.
Thought It Was Me.
No.
Dang, I can't remember.
Poison.
Yeah, Poison was their flagship song there for sure.
That's a fast song, right?
Yeah. Poison was their flagship song, but this one, she said, is a little bit slower.
That's all I can.
Dang, I don't remember it. I do have memories of BBD and that album, Belle Biv DeVoe, because that was my grandmother, my beloved grandmother on my dad's side. You know, I've told you about her in the past. You know, she was she was awesome. And just the way she loved us and how she showed love. And she was a successful businesswoman. You know, she ran her own flower shop and stuff. So she would always try to do stuff for us and whatnot when she could, if she felt it was worthy, kind of thing. She didn't necessarily spoil us. But I remember she bought me the Belle Biv DeVoe cassette. And she, not knowing what she bought. And when will I see you smile again? Tell it, John. See, I tell you, that dude, that's a good song.
Yeah, that's a good song. That's a good song. For sure. It is.
And you're right on the nail, because that song came on. She allowed me to play the tape in the car one day as we were going to work, because I would go to the flower shop with her to work. And we're riding up Highway 123 going to Greenville. And that song comes on, and it's a lot of innuendos. that song, and my Southern Baptist Christian grandma looked over at me and, what is this? She wasn't too thrilled.
Yeah, they gave us a hard time with music coming up.
She wasn't too thrilled about that album. You know,
me.
My mom, on the other hand, see, that makes me think about something else. My mom, she could have given me a hard time about stuff like that, but she never did. I remember buying Too Short cassettes. TOOSHORT, Too Short. Rapper from Oakland, for folks that don't know. Like, filthy, dirty rapper.
Yeah.
I never bought 2 Live Crew, but he was 2 Live Crew filthy kind of thing. I had that. I had all of this. I had NWA and the gangster rap stuff and all of that. And my mom, she could have given me grief about it. The most I got from my mom's was, boy, I need you to turn that shit down. That was it. That was the most that I got from it. She never took any of that stuff away. I remember when she bought me a little component system, little component stereo system, and I bought vinyl. Yeah, I bought a vinyl record. It was KMD's. They were from New York. And I bought another cassette, and it was Bone Thugs and Harmony. And it had a CD player, so I bought a CD too. And it was Compton's Most Wanted with MC8. So they just talking about shooting up this summer. And I used to blast that thing, you know, but she never said you can't listen to that stuff, you know, about like curfew. She never told me I had a curfew, but I did come home late, and I did stay, you know, come home a lot later than I needed to a lot of times.
Wow.
You know? John Helm says Shy was good too. Those guys would harmonize. That's the main thing I remember about them.
Shy.
It's their harmony.
Yeah.
So forth.
Remember Shy.
Man.
Good old Jodeci.
Every time I hear that name, man, that I just laugh to myself. You know this story. You know the story about KC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I met them working in the airport too in Charlotte. Remember, I told you about that. I felt.
What did you say?
I was excited about them, seeing them there until they were giving like a bartender hard time because they didn't know who they were. It was like, hey, you better tell her who we are. I was like, everybody couldn't know who y'all are.
Don't nobody give a damn.
I was young at that time, and I knew that. It was like, okay, but because they didn't have their ID. You know, I could tell them whatever, but then I was just so ever since then it was like I like the music still, you know.
Yeah, they can sing.
Yes,
they
absolutely. I still love the music, but I think I wasn't starstruck after that for anybody. You know?
Rightfully so. I had a run in with those guys. Well, one of the guys. I had a run in with KC. So where I went to university, there in Wingate, North Kakalaki, or as the locals call it, Wingate, North Kakalaki. There's a town right next to it called Monroe. And the neighborhood that those cats apparently hung out in was right next to where my little apartment was at the time. And at the time, I had finally gotten a date, you know. And I remember said girlfriend saying, yeah, I used to date KC from Jodeci because I think I was playing the music or whatever. And she's like, yeah, I used to date him. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Sure. Everybody dated. I didn't even know he was from there. So she and I moved in together. During the move, had to go to her place and move stuff out and whatnot. And I saw a picture and I was like, oh shit, that really is this dude. And I just sort of left it alone. I'm like, okay, well, maybe she wasn't lying. I just sort of left it alone. Continuing to move, and somebody knocks on the door. I go to the door, open the door, and I look down. I look down, and it's this little ass dark skinned dude with a hoodie on. All I see is teeth and eyes because he's so dark skinned. Teeth and eyes. And he just sort of looks up and he was like, is so and so here? And I was like, yeah.
Really?
And I just looked at him and he just looked up at me. And she just, it was just the silence. And as I wasn't moving, because I recognized who he was after he started talking. But when I first saw him, he just looked like this little short, dark skinned dude with a hoodie on.
Well, did you think he was being disrespectful or something?
Yes.
What if she hadn't told old dude what was going on?
Okay, so let me walk you through this scenario here, at least from my own experience. If I, back then, was interested in some female and I go and knocked on her door and a dude answers the door, I just turn around and walk away.
Oh, I see. Okay. I see. I have to look at it from that side. Yeah. I don't know. That's why
it's first off, it's her loss. Number one, it's her loss. And number two is, all right, dude, hey, my bad. And I just walk away. I would never say a word. Not that I ever been in that situation, because again, I couldn't find a date like that. But that's how I would handle that. So I just stood there. And he didn't walk off. He just stood there. And she comes up behind and it's like, hey, and introduces us and whatnot. And she asked me to go stand over here or whatever so they could talk or whatever. And apparently she laid it out what was going on. And I could sort of see him just sort of looking back at me and just begrudgingly like, And when it was time for him to leave, she's like, all right, well, you take care, blah, 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 blah. And he looks at me and I just, whatever. And he goes on about his business and would tuck his tail and went on this very merry little way.
Yeah, we done come across. I wonder how many celebrities I've come across in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Not even knowing that they were.
Well, see, I've come across a bunch of them, mostly athletes.
Yeah.
And I've always thought it was cool to see the celebrity athletes because of their stature. Most of them were just magnificent physical specimens when you see them. The only exception was Ray Carruth. You remember that name? Woo, Ray Carruth. Yeah, y'all look that up. Ray Carruth. Y'all look that up if you don't know. But I remember seeing him for the first time.
You said, I wonder if he wrote a song about it.
He wrote a song?
Hey, you never know.
Casey, yeah, he may have written a song about me mad, calling me a son of a, and all of that good stuff. But yeah, when I saw Ray Carruth, I remember just marveling at how small he was. He was a little dude. He was not big, but he played for the Panthers and just ridiculously fast. I remember just seeing how small he was and how fast he was. He literally took 3 steps and he was gone. Just crazy fast. But yeah, I've seen a handful of celebrities. Usually it was athletes though. Starstruck, I won't say that, but just being a former athlete and someone that just respects physical specimens, because I know what it takes. A lot of it's genetic. Some people are just blessed, but then there's also the work that goes into it, that people put into it. And like Julius Peppers.
I need to put the work into it.
Julius Peppers is a massive human being. He was damn near 300 pounds. He's like 6'8". Hell of a football player. Hell of a basketball player. I mean, the dude could have played in the NBA. He's now an NFL Hall of Famer, but he could have played in the NBA and probably would have been a Hall of Famer in the NBA too. Just a ridiculous looking. He didn't even look real. He looked like a superhero. I can't make that up. Oh, you got to meet Michael Jordan, John? Oh, I'm so jealous of you. I got a Michael Jordan story. It's not as good as that one, though.
Wow. Thong song for the word.
Thong song.
Oh, I was in junior high singing thong song word for word and didn't know what they were talking about for years. I know that's right, Jasmine.
Oh gosh.
It was the same way, Legionine.
Come on.
I knew what I was singing though. For that one, I knew what a thong was. I didn't have one. but I knew what it was.
That's
and
hilarious.
it was, the thing is, it was just, it was so much fun though, because, you know, we were listening to this secular music, so it was living life on the edge.
Yeah, see, that was big in your house.
Listening to the secular music. You know your Sabbath school lesson? Every time I would be singing anything that was not church music.
Yeah.
You know your Sabbath school lesson? You know your Sabbath school lesson? What's the memory verse? What's it? Just all of this stuff. Every time, no matter what. It was like, why is it that? That really made me want to know it more.
Because they were hiding their own stuff, basically. That's my theory. Anyway, they're hiding their own transgressions, if you will, and trying to put it off on you.
Yes.
My gosh.
Favorite celebrity was Alonzo Mourning. Who was
Alonzo
he?
Mourning was great
was
too.
that?
He was a former Charlotte Hornet.
Oh yeah, that is right. Okay.
Georgetown Hoya and Miami Heat.
Yeah.
He was fun to watch. My Michael Jordan story. While I was in college, some people don't know this, but I was formerly a sports medicine major. Okay. Because I love the human body. But I got out of it because it was crazy competitive. And my grades, they weren't horrible, but I didn't think my grades were good enough. And I didn't think I was going to land anywhere back then. So I ended up changing majors. But part of the sports medicine curriculum, we worked at the Charlotte Hornets basketball games, you know, like every other week or something like that, doing concessions and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So I was the guy walking around slinging peanuts to people in the stands.
That sounds like the coolest job ever.
It sucked.
I would have loved to have done that kind of job.
Actually, the peanuts wasn't bad. It was if you got sodas. Carrying sodas sucked back then, but the peanuts wasn't that bad. But yeah, I used to do that like every other week. So I always had the schedule of what was going to be coming up at the Charlotte Arena back when it was on Tyvola. And the Bulls were coming to town. And I saw it on there. And then I was like, wait a minute, are we working that night? No, we're not working that night. Well, I'm just going to go over there anyway and see if I could still just get up in here and possibly finally get to see Michael Jordan. Yeah, John Helmet was the Hive over on Tyvola. Correct, sir. So the schedule came up, and I remember getting myself squared away, you know, towards the end of the day, trying to make sure I could beat the traffic getting from Wingate to Charlotte, because, you know, Independence Highway was a shit show of traffic back then, and I don't think it's gotten any better.
I'm like, back then?
Yeah, I don't think it's gotten any better, but back then it was only 4 lanes, 2 and 2. So I remember leaving early to try to get there in a decent amount of time and see if I can go and just talk to the folks in concessions, be like, hey, I'm here and I want to see you in the game, blah, 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 blah. Driving up in there, and I get to the stadium parking lot, and it's like, there's cars here and then. I'm like, damn, what time did I get here? And then I must got here real fast. So I scoot on up in there and we'll go past a couple cars, and I go to the spot where we would normally go for concessions to check in. And there's like 3 cars there. And I'm like, damn, where the hell everybody at? I go up there to the gate, open the door, and I walk in, and it's like quiet, super quiet back there. And I'm like, why ain't nobody out here doing any work? Somebody finally comes around there, and I'm like, what time does the game start?
What time did the show start?
I'm like, what time does the game start? And they're like, at 7. And I'm like, well, damn, it's 6 something and there's nothing going on. They're like, well, they're playing in Chicago, not in Charlotte. So that was my Michael Jordan story.
Oh, man. I know. How did you feel walking back to your car? Tuck tail. That is funny. I have never heard that story before. 20-something years, I've never heard that story before. Wow, you didn't think to look at that. You didn't think to look at that. Let's see if they're at home or not. Not you, Aunt Pruitt. Not you. No way. That's funny.
Man, I tell you, it was nothing. It's so sad. Nothing clicked to me. It just not a damn thing. You know,
it's okay.
Just
happens.
I'm literally driving through that big ass parking lot.
Empty.
On
just
Tyvola.
You know what you look like? The National Lampoon. You look like you're taking his family to, what is that, Wonder World or whatever?
Wally World.
Going through there. Oh, ain't nobody got here yet. Nobody's here yet. We're going to be the first ones in line. Ain't nobody doing consent. That's how you was. Feel like you was the first one there. Ooh-wee. I'm surprised you didn't go take somebody hostage. Open up this place for me. I drove all the way here to work.
Oh,
shit.
Gosh. But that's the thing. I literally walked up. I drove through the parking lot. And like I said, there was a couple cars there. But in my head, I'm thinking I made some really good time. Because I think I left at like 3 o'clock or some shit. You know.
Oh, my
I left
goodness.
at like 3 o'clock or something like that. Because I wanted to be there early.
Yeah, you were very... You was early, all right, bruh. You was really early. Really early.
Oh, dude was like, yeah, the game starts at 7 in Chicago.
There wasn't even nothing else you could say, but okay. It ain't no arguments. I thought I was supposed to work. Nope, sorry.
Oh, gosh.
That's funny. Never heard that
Jasmine
before.
says he became a schedule master after that. You're damn right I did.
Yes, he looked at the small print. He paid attention to this. Is this AM or PM? Is this at home or away?
Like,
at home or away?
Games in Chicago. Man, y'all had no idea how bad I wanted to see Michael Jordan.
I do. You was trying to beat him there. I do know how bad you wanted to see him. Bless your heart.
Oh, gosh, man. Oh, man. Thank y'all for being here tonight.
Thank y'all.
Hanging out with us here at Everyday People Podcast, doing everyday shit. I'm Aunt Pruitt. She's Phoebe Pruitt. We're going to pause one more time for
he gonna cry.
The live check. He's
gonna cry in the
car.
That's probably what it is. Man, ain't nobody tell me it was away. Why ain't nobody tell me it was away? They knew I was gonna come up here trying to see you. Ooh-wee.
Well, that's fair. That is fair. Thank y'all for being here. We're gonna pause one more time before we get out of here. So stay right there. We'll be right back. And we are back. Thank y'all for hanging out with us here. Aunt Pruitt, Everyday People, doing everyday shit, the random, totally off the wall podcast of myself and Queen Pruitt just sitting on the mics, talking about whatever the heck is on our dadgum brains, apparently. Yeah, we're not going to talk about Michael Jordan anymore. Not right now, anyway.
Of course not.
But I did want to get into one more topic before we go. And we're going to hit on some memes, essentially. So let me pull up my screen here. Well, is it going to work? Did my keyboard die? There it goes. We had the Olympics. We've already talked about a lot of the Olympics and stuff. But there's still just one more story that I wanted to touch on. And I loved it because it's featuring Sha'Carri Richardson. And I remember watching it live because I had to set my dadgum schedule to try to catch these things live as they happen. And she's a part of the gold medal winning 4 by 100 meter relay. And if you didn't see that race, you must have been hiding under a rock because it's been played over and over
Absolutely.
and over again. But I still think it's quite noteworthy. So let me see, hit screen share here. This is coming from, what page is this? This is Sports Illustrated, SI.com. But this picture, man, she's running down the track. And she's just about to cross the finish line because they were behind. The team was behind in this race. Mm-hmm. And she got that baton, ran past two people and had one more person to get, the lady from Great Britain. And as she got up on her, she's like 2 lanes over in this picture. The Great Britain person is over here in this lane. As she got up on her, she's running full speed and looked at her, like eyeballed her up and down. Mm-hmm. And crossed the finish line ahead of her for the win. And when that happened, I remember telling you, I was like, oh, that's going to be the next meme. Mm-hmm. You're gonna see this posted everywhere, just that stare down, if you will. Well, there's a story behind the look there, the stare, the Sha'Carri stare is what they now dub this thing. If you read this, Sha'Carri says, honestly, that look over, if I had to just highlight anything, the look over was, it's almost like it was a mirror on the side of me. And I'm just looking at that version of myself that nobody but me could see, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I read that.
Gosh, she continues, I looked over and I just knew that no matter what was going on, there was nobody that was going to allow even myself, to be in front of me. I know that sounds crazy, but I was in that lane and feeling like I'm always my biggest competitor. So I had to leave my best on the track. That's strong. Mm-hmm. That is strong.
Very strong. Very, very strong.
I was talking to why did that just flip back? There it goes. I was talking to Hardhead because he's here in town for the next week or so, visiting and working out and studying for UO. And we looked at a clip of something, but it was sports related. And I was like, man, this is why I love sports the way I do. Because it seems like, excuse me, it pulls something out of people, and especially the people that are in the middle of that competition. It whatever it is, it just pulls something out and it can take you to that next level of achievement. And it could be the most minor thing, but I love the fact that she sat there and she was in the zone. That's another sports phrase of being in the zone. She was in the zone, and all she could see in the middle of millions of people watching this race
was herself. All
she could see was herself. And she's like, I'm going to beat myself. Nobody's going to win this but me. That's some psychology stuff that I can get down with. And the other time that I thought about someone like being in the zone goes back to the 90s with Michael Jordan. I think it was 1992 in their first championship series against the Lakers. And Michael Jordan was just coming down the court, just throwing the ball up from wherever, and it was going in. And it got to the point where he threw the ball up and it went in. He turned around and looked at the cameras like, I don't even know. Mm-hmm. He's like, it's just going in, so I'm just going to keep shooting it, but he was in the zone, but that elevated him, that elevated that team. They went on to win the championship and so forth and whatnot. But yeah, that right there, I love that from Sha'Carri Richardson, and just think she deserves her flowers right now. Mm-hmm. Anyway, just thought I'd get that off of my chest and share that. Anything you'd like to share? I'd like to see. Oh, those are interesting comments there. Yeah, that's a powerful statement. She deserves all her wins. Yes. I rewatched the Flu Jordan game and Kobe's last game when I need to find some oomph. Oh, yeah. Good stuff. And Kobe was another one. Kobe Bryant was that dude. He's a freaking assassin. And there's a commercial that's going on right now that's by Nike. And it's been pretty controversial every time I read about it. And I can't remember who sent it to me, but somebody sent it to me and they were like, this commercial is so you. And I said, well, yeah. And the people that are yelling about it are people that never really been in those scenarios or understand it. But it's basically a voiceover saying, oh, yes, I'm a villain, or yes, I'm rude or mean. I can't remember the exact verbiage, but they're basically talking about the athletes and they're just horrible people. Or I'm selfish, but what they're saying is these athletes are so driven. They're just trying to win. I'm going to knock the shit out of you on this football field because that's what I do, that kind of thing, and it's a lot of that in there, be it basketball or football or track or whatever. And it's just funny to see how polarizing that commercial is because people are up in arms and they're like, you don't have to yell at your opponent and this and that. And I get it. You don't have to talk junk to your opponent. But I get when people do it because there's something emotional that just flicks and you don't control it. It just comes out. It's not a lack of sportsmanship or anything like that, but it's more of I want this right now and I'm not going to let you stop me from getting it. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
I wish I could find that commercial, but
sports is the only place that you can do that, unfortunately.
Well, no. Ask all of these corporations right now doing it to us. Ask that company that I had to deal with not too long ago that tried to nickel and dime me over my modeling fee.
No.
That's making a gazillion dollars.
No. What I'm saying is I can't say what I want to say and get my gears going, to them to make me feel better going into work. That's what I'm saying.
I think about Jerry Maguire. I know that's a sports related movie.
Yeah.
But their job wasn't sports. Their job was deals, right? Mm-hmm. And sales reps here in the U.S., I don't know about worldwide, but the sales reps here in the U.S., they call them rainmakers because they make so much money. When you see those dudes, the really good ones, because I've hung out with some really good ones, they are two different people. And they get this level of focus and level of, they gonna sign this contract because I'm the shit. It's this weird, something comes over them and they get their game face on, if you will, and they get the contracts in their hand and they go out the door and they come back with signed contracts. Yeah. It's not just sports. It's some things where people figure out a way to tap into that other carnal side of themselves, and I wish I could do it more. I used to do it. I don't know. I thought so anyway. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I'll put the links to the Sha'Carri story in our show notes, and I'll also link to the Nike story, Nike ad, because I love it. It speaks to me, if you will. And with that said, I also think we still need to get marching bands into NFL games. NFL football is good, but it would be so much better if they had a band in the corner of the end zone playing on third down to get the defense riled up, or when they score a touchdown, or or
they
something.
should.
It's,
if they come up with it, why not?
every time I watch college football, it's you hear the crowds. The crowds are so much different in a college football game versus a pro game. And then you hear the band on top of that. And it's like it just really stirs the pot. And I'm like, could the NFL get bands and maybe that'll help the crowds? There are exceptions like Kansas City or Green Bay, but most of them is just corporate.
Yeah.
So anyway, I've rambled enough. Anything you'd like to add before we go? Plug, share, plea, anything?
No. Thank y'all for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the support.
Anything else? That's it? Good. That's good. Well, I'm going to thank everybody again and also send a special thank you to our fine folks over here in Patreon. Thank y'all to our paid Patreon members. There's a free tier too, but we have a couple paid tiers, and everybody that's listed on the screen right now. This is the fun part where I try to pronounce names. Matt Buoncanti, Alvin Brock, Joe Esposito, Dr. Drew, Michael Claypool, Catherine Killebrew, Rich Breslin, Matt Wilgo, Tanya Wyman, Finn, Jeffrey Maricini, Michelle Thomas, Sean Powers, Kelvin, Joe Catskill, and Pujan Wag. That's how it was spelled on the screen. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right, but thank you to all of you for being Patreon members and supporting us that way. We did lose a Patreon member. I got a notification that one Patreon member dropped off, but it's nice, and I'm grateful for folks popping back in here and joining us and trying to help support the show. Does mean a lot. Catch us each and every week in whatever podcast app you use or over on YouTube. Usually on Wednesdays is when we record live, and I try to get these things out the door Thursdays afternoonish my time. So just set your auto downloaders on your phones and whatnot, and you will get it magically. Again, support the show. Go to patreon.com/Aunt Pruitt. Like, share, subscribe. Thanks for being here in the live chat. And yeah, that's it. Be good to yourself. Be good to someone else. And yeah, know that it's okay to love you some you. Y'all take it easy. See ya.